Right. I think the gremlins have disappeared. I've rebooted my router. Oh, I do apologize about this. Um, Probably just talking to myself, but we're back online. Um, See if anybody comes back. Finally back here. Okay, so we got one person in the room. Oh, I feel like I've aged about 10 years. I don't know what has been going on with this internet week on week. I don't know if it's anything to do with capacity overuse during the lockdown. Madness. Okay, let's see if anyone else rejoins us. But yeah, we're back online. Really apologize about what happened. Hello. Got one person. Oh, I don't know what happened there. I feel like I've aged about 10 years. Oh, I'm starting to sweat. I need a drink, I think. Oh, my sanity. Madness. Richard Branson. Oh, I could curse you. Right. Yeah, these things happen. Sent to try. I've had it week after week. I don't know what's going on. Don't ever have any issues during the week, and then come Friday, it's all going wrong. Okay, I'll start reading. I'll do round three again. Do you want me to start from the beginning again? Question number one. It was Julia Roberts, wasn't it? From what I remember. Start from question one again. We'll see if anyone joins in. Yeah, okay. Okay. So nice and intimate, only two people. See how we get on. So Julia Roberts won the Academy Award in 2001 for playing which unemployed single mother who becomes a legal assistant and brings down a Californian power company accused of polluting the city's water supply. That's number one. Moving on to two. Name Julia Roberts' male co-star in the films Runaway Bride and Pretty Woman. So who's a male co-star in those two films? Maybe we'll get some more people join us, maybe not. Okay, so number three, film going back to 1991. I was saying before it all went awry that this was kind of a film always on late night TV, on HTV after the news. But Roberts plays a young woman who fakes her own death in an attempt to escape a nightmare marriage. She co-stars alongside Patrick Bergin in this 1991 thriller. But tell me the name of the film. We got three people. We're getting there. We're trying to increase the numbers. I'll get the 50p out for the meter. Let's hope it doesn't happen again. Okay, number four. Julia Roberts plays Tinkerbell in a live adaptation of Peter Pan for the 1991 blockbuster Hook. Can you tell me the name of the Hollywood director? Number five now. Okay, I'll repeat four again, sorry. So Julia Roberts plays Tinkerbell in a live adaptation of the book Peter Pan for the 1991 blockbuster Hook. But name the Hollywood director. Number five now, halfway through this round. Roberts married which country singer on June the 25th, 1993? They separated in March 1995 and subsequently divorced. Number five again, Roberts married which country singer on June the 25th, 1993? They separated in March 1995 and subsequently divorced. Couple more to go. We've got a couple more people online. Sorry about earlier. I don't know what happened there. Rebooted the router, so fingers crossed. Okay, so number six now. I'm going to give you a synopsis of a film she starred in, Julia Roberts. Just tell me the name of the film. So Roberts received an Oscar nomination in a female comedy drama released in 1989. It co-stars Sally Field, Dolly Parton, Shirley MacLaine, and Daryl Hannah. It's about a young beautician newly arrived in a small Louisiana town who finds work in a local salon where a small group of women form a close bond and friendship. Tell me the name of the film. Yeah, I'll do number 4 in just a minute. Apologise about earlier on, a slap on the wrist, spanner in the works. Oh, you should have heard me. My curse words. Wasn't a happy man. Number 6, Roberts received an Oscar nomination in a female comedy drama. It was released in 1989. Co-stars alongside Sally Field, Dolly Parton, Shirley MacLaine, and Daryl Hannah. It's about a young beautician newly arrived in a small Louisiana town. He finds work in a local salon where a small group of women share a close bond and friendship. Yeah, I'll do number 4 at the end. Number 7 now. Who plays Texas Congressman Charlie Wilson in the biographical drama Charlie Wilson's War, where Roberts plays female character Joanne Herring? So I'm looking for a male co-star. The film is Charlie Wilson's War, but who plays Charlie Wilson in the film? Co-starring alongside Julia Roberts. Number 8 now, tricky question. This is kind of an early film for Julia Roberts. It's a comedy drama from 1988. It's about 3 teenage girls come of age while working at a pizza parlor in a Connecticut town. But tell me the name of the film. So I'll repeat that one again. Name the early Roberts comedy from 1988. It's about 3 teenage girls come of age while working at a pizza parlor in a Connecticut town. Tell me the film. A few more people on. Apologise about earlier. I'll repeat any questions in just a mo. We're on the Julia Roberts round. Number 9 now. Roberts co-stars with Denzel Washington in The Pelican Brief, a 1993 crime mystery about a law student who uncovers a conspiracy, putting herself and others in danger. But the film is adapted from a novel from which American novelist? And one more to go. So I'll repeat that one. Roberts co-stars with Denzel Washington in The Pelican Brief, a 1993 crime mystery about a law student who uncovers a conspiracy, putting herself and others in danger. But the film is adapted from a novel by which popular author? And the last one, number 10. Which male co-star did Roberts not get on with and constantly feuded on set on 1994's I Love Trouble? Apparently the two of them absolutely loathe one another. Didn't get on at all. But name the male co-star that Roberts didn't get on with and constantly feuded on set on 1994's film I Love Trouble. Yeah, sorry about earlier, Philip. Yeah, I'll do 4 and 7. Not a problem at all. We picked up a few people, which is good. Apologies again. The gremlins in the works. The workers on strike. God knows what's going on. Maybe it's just high capacity because I don't have issues with this during the week, the internet. Okay, number 4. Julia Roberts plays Tinkerbell in the live adaptation of Peter Pan in the 1991 blockbuster Hook. But name the Hollywood director. And number 7. Who plays Texas Congressman Charlie Wilson in the biographical drama Charlie Wilson's War, where Roberts plays female character Joanne Herring? So I want to know Roberts' male co-star. Okay, so we finally got there in the end. It took longer than reading War and Peace, but we got there in the end. 10 questions on female Hollywood icon Julia Roberts. I noticed a couple more people were up to 10. Do you need any repeating? So we've done 4 and 7, 5 and 6. What are 5 and 6? Okay, 5. Roberts married which country singer in 1993? They separated in 1995 and divorced. Tell me the name of the country artist. Number 6 was the synopsis of a film released in 1989. It's a comedy drama. It co-stars Sally Field, Dolly Parton, Shirley MacLaine, and Daryl Hannah. It's about a young beautician newly arrived in a small Louisiana town who finds work in a local salon where a small group of women share a close bond and friendship. I wanted you to tell me the name of the film, please. And number 7, so who plays Texas Congressman Charlie Wilson in the biographical drama Charlie Wilson's War? So Julia Roberts is in this one, but tell me her male co-star. Okay, so we finally got there. Touch wood. It may happen again. How did you get on with your Julia Roberts? So we got some Julia Roberts fans here tonight playing the quiz. And how do you think you did with your scores? Or if anyone's just joined us, do you need me to repeat any of the questions 1 to 10 for round number 3, Julia Roberts? How did you fare? How did you get on? Any predicted scores for this round? We had this as a recommendation from last week. One of the players, I can't recall the name, sadly, asked for a round on some female Hollywood stars. Bikey Chick, extremely confident. 9 to 10, possibly. Be a good score. We'll move on in just a minute. Okay, Gail would like 4, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, yeah, no problem. Sorry about earlier on. I keep apologizing. So number 4, tell me the director of the 1991 blockbuster Hook, where Julia Roberts plays Tinkerbell in the film. So I'm looking for the director. 8, 9, and 10. Number 8 was Name the Early Roberts comedy drama from 1988. It's about 3 teenage girls coming of age while working at a pizza parlor in a Connecticut town. Number 9 was tell me the name of the novelist, the American novelist who wrote the book for the film The Pelican Brief, the crime mystery that came out in 1993. And then lastly, number 10 was which male co-star did Roberts not get on with and constantly feuded on the set of the 1994 film I Love Trouble? And lastly, number 6, we're getting there slowly. Okay, I gave you a description of the film. I wanted to tell me the name of the film that Julia Roberts is in. It's a comedy drama from 1989. It stars Sally Field, Dolly Parton, Shirley MacLaine, and Daryl Hannah. It's about a young beautician newly arrived in a small Louisiana town who finds work in a local salon and forms a close bond and friendship with a group of women. But tell me the name of the film. We're getting there. Okay. I don't know if to just repeat the whole lot again or was probably be here all night. Be the longest quiz in history. We're up to 15. Oh, thanks a lot, everybody, for coming back. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry about what happened earlier. We've had problems all the time, like the last couple of weeks. Didn't have this during the first lockdown. I don't know what's going on with the internet. I blame Virgin. I'm going to cancel first thing Monday. New provider. Do you want me to just read all 10? Would people be patient enough? Do you want me to just go through all 10 for round 3 quickly? And then hopefully we'll do rounds 4 and 5. Fingers crossed. Swig of gin with no hassle whatsoever. I hope and I pray, dear Lord, if he's up there watching. Maybe he's not. Okay, we'll quickly go through the whole round. I'll be quick as I can. Number 1 was the film. Which film did she win the Oscar for in 2001 for playing an unemployed single mother who becomes a legal assistant who brings down a Californian power company accused of polluting the city's water supply? Number 2 was name Julia Roberts' co-star, male in the films Runaway Bride and Pretty Woman. Number 3 was name the 1991 thriller. She co-stars with Patrick Bergin. She plays a woman who fakes her own death in an attempt to escape her nightmare marriage. Number 4 was name the director of Hook, the 1991 Peter Pan adaptation, where Julia Roberts plays Tinkerbell. Number 5 was a question about her private life. She married which country singer in 1993, and they separated in March 95 and subsequently divorced. Name the country music star. Number 6 was name the film. It was a synopsis. It's a 1989 film, co-starring Sally Field, Dolly Parton, Shirley MacLaine, and Daryl Hannah. It's about a young beautician, newly arrived in a small Louisiana town, who finds work in a local salon, meets a group of women, and they form a close friendship. Number 7 was named the male co-star, who plays Texas Congressman Charlie Wilson in Charlie Wilson's War. Number 8 was named the early Roberts comedy drama from 1988. It's about 3 teenage girls who come of age while working at a pizza parlor in a Connecticut town. Number 9, 2 to go. So name the novelist who wrote the novel that was adapted for the Pelican Brief film, which co-stars Denzel Washington and Julia Roberts. And lastly, number 10, which male co-star did Roberts not get on with on the set of 1994's I Love Trouble? We got there in the end. Okay, so are you happy if I move on to number 4? Before I do that, I was going to quickly do my last film that I watched during the week. And it's been a bit of a hit and miss week for me for films. And I was really disappointed with this last one. So for years and years, I remember in the 1980s, as a young kid, I remember a friend and we rented out a film on VHS. And for about a decade, I could remember the film in my head, but I couldn't think of the name of the title of the film. And the thing I could remember, it was about an alien invasion, Martians invading, and all I could remember was the villains, or the people who'd be possessed by the Martians, had plasters on the back of their necks. Well, I was tempted to write into Empire. They did a column, name that film, can't recall what the film is. And in the end, I managed to Google search it a couple of years back and bought the DVD. It's the remake of a 1950s film, Invaders from Mars, from the director of Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Poltergeist, Tobe Hooper. So I watched this a couple of nights ago, really just wanting to watch an enjoyable film from the 1980s and my childhood. Got fond memories of some of those films back in those days, like Ghostbusters and Back to the Future. There's a good cast in this one, 1986. It's got Karen Black. It's got Louise Fletcher, who won the Oscar for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And I can honestly say, you're right, it's a Canon Films produced feature. I literally switched this off with about 20 minutes to go. I didn't enjoy it whatsoever. The DVD is now for sale on eBay. I thought it was atrociously bad. The thing I couldn't work out was who this was aimed at when it was made in the 1980s. It's certainly not a family film. There's some quite scary, frightening moments. It didn't even feel like an adult film. It's a 12 rating, but obviously at that time, we didn't have a 12 rating till Batman came out in 89. So who was going to watch this film? Were adults watching this? It's certainly not a kids' movie. I thought it was atrociously bad. It had not stood the test of time, and it's very rare that I switch a film off. But that night, this one had to go off, and I would quite happily put this one in the bin. Has anyone seen Invaders from Mars, the original, the 50s version? Anyone seen this one? Yeah, Canon Films, it kind of says it all. It did do one or two good movies. Runaway Train's very good, but this one I was bitterly disappointed with. Okay, so we're picking up numbers. Thank you kindly. And yeah, 1953 version original. Here we go. We'll go with round number 4, and hopefully my internet will not cut out. Hopefully I won't be sweating any more buckets. Okay, so this could be an interesting round. Original casting choices. So these were original people in mind to be in a particular film. I'm going to give you a little bit of a clue to help out. So these were original people in mind to play a part that didn't get the role. Okay, number 1, you ready? 10 questions, original casting choices. We're getting the numbers up again. Sorry about earlier on. I just hope and pray, I really do, it doesn't happen next week. Somebody's got it in for me, I think. Okay, so number 1, which Full Metal Jacket actor was first choice by Paramount to play Maverick in Top Gun? So there's the clue for you. An actor in Full Metal Jacket, the Kubrick film, but who was first choice by Paramount Studios to play Maverick in Top Gun? Who was the original choice? Tom Cruise obviously got the part, shot to fame. There's a new film coming out next year. But who was originally cast to play Maverick? Number 2, which 3 men and a baby actor was originally the choice to play Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark? So before Harrison Ford got the famous role, the original film was going to go to another actor. He was in 3 Men and a Baby. But who was originally the choice to play Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark? Number 3 now is the clue. Which Beetlejuice star was first choice to play Mary Corleone in The Godfather Part 3? Still have nightmares over The Godfather Part 3. The weakest in the trilogy, I think, by far. I love 1 and 2, especially the second one, both in my top films of all time. But which Beetlejuice star was first choice to play Mary Corleone in The Godfather Part 3? It's not a bad film, but just very weak compared to the first 2. Number 4, Dan Aykroyd, talented guy, wrote the character of Peter Venkman in Ghostbusters for which friend and late comedian? So this was originally written for a particular friend of his, an actor, comedian, man of all talents who sadly died young, but who was originally going to be cast as Peter Venkman. Bill Murray, of course, made the part famous. He made it his own, but who was the original choice? That was 4. Number 5, Mr. Warren Beatty, or the wife of Warren Beatty, was considered the role of Catwoman in Batman Returns. But who is she? So the original Batman Returns, the Catwoman, and Michelle Pfeiffer got the role. She was great in the film. But who was originally going to be cast? It was Mrs. Warren Beatty. But who is she? Couple more to go. Number 6, who originally was cast as Marty McFly in Back to the Future? He was removed from the film, having shot scenes, and replaced by Michael J. Fox. I think he actually appears in one scene. They couldn't edit him out, but he shot some of the film, and they just felt he was playing the role too straight, not with kind of a comedy effect that they wanted. But he was originally cast as Marty McFly in Back to the Future. He was removed from the film and replaced by Michael J. Fox. Number 7, which Australian actor was considered for Patrick Swayze's role as Sam Wheat in 1990's Ghost. A big Australian star back in the 80s. Used to see him on a lot of adverts. I think he was promoting lager. I think he's still alive, I believe. But which Australian star was originally going to be Sam Wheat in 1990's Ghost? It went to the late Patrick Swayze, of course. Easiest one, number 8. Which Dances with Wolves star was considered for the part of Jack Ryan in The Hunt for the Red October? So which star who was in Dances with Wolves was considered for the part of Jack Ryan in The Hunt for the Red October? 2 more to go. Round number 4. Which popular slapstick comedian, big in the 1990s, was originally considered for the role of Shaggy in Scooby-Doo? So number 9 again. Which popular slapstick comedian, big in the 1990s, was originally considered for the role of Shaggy in Scooby-Doo? And lastly, number 10, the final one of the round. Which Reservoir Dogs actor was originally cast as Captain Benjamin L. Willard in Apocalypse Now, but replaced by Martin Sheen? So yeah, similar to Back to the Future, an actor was originally cast as the role, and he was replaced by Martin Sheen. But which Reservoir Dogs actor was originally cast as Captain Benjamin L. Willard in Apocalypse Now, but replaced by Martin Sheen? So there's all your 10 questions for the original casting round. How do you think you got on with this particular one? Some tricky ones in there, but obviously I dropped in the films to give you a little bit of a clue, just to make it a little bit easier. How did you fare with this round? How did you get on? 7 and 8 again? Yeah, sure. No problem, Matt. So 7, which Australian actor was considered for Patrick Swayze's role as Sam Wheat in 1990's Ghost? And number 8, which Dances with Wolves star was considered for the part of Jack Ryan in The Hunt for the Red October? Bikey Chick confident 9 would be a really good score. Would be an excellent score. Having a couple of people messaging me saying, am I back online? I suppose I better message them back. Sorry to be so unprofessional. Gail Rogers, confident with a 9. It would be, again, another good score. We'll move on in just a second to the last round, and I can repeat. Number 6, yeah, no problem. So number 6, who was originally cast as Marty McFly in Back to the Future? He was removed from the film, having shot scenes, and replaced by Michael J. Fox. The Dutch film buff, confident with a 9. Again, that would be a good score. And we'll move on to the penultimate round now. And he's asking for number 4, no problem. So number 4, Dan Aykroyd wrote the character Peter Venkman in Ghostbusters for which friend and late comedian? The role obviously went to Bill Murray, but who was originally going to be cast as Peter Venkman in the original Ghostbusters film? Okay, the last round. So round number 5, the final 10 questions. Again, this was another recommendation from someone from last week, and it's films about real life scandals. Okay, so I'm going to give you a synopsis of a film about a real life scandal, true to life. I want you to just tell me the name of the film. Here we go. Question number 1. Name this 2013 film with Steve Coogan and Judi Dench. It's about a political journalist who picks up a story of a woman's search for her son who was taken away decades ago after she became pregnant and was forced to live in a convent. That's number 1. Okay, so it's a 2013 film with Steve Coogan and Judi Dench. It's about a journalist who picks up a story of a woman's search for her son, who was taken away decades ago after she became pregnant and was forced to live in a convent. Name the film. We go from the 2000s way back to 1973. It's an Al Pacino crime drama about an honest New York cop who blows the whistle on rampant corruption in the force, only to have his comrades turn against him. Tell me the name of the film. So 1973 film, Al Pacino crime drama about an honest New York cop who blows the whistle on rampant corruption in the force, only to have his comrades turn against him. Tell me the name of the film. Number 3 now is a Robert Redford directed film released in 1994, and it's about a young lawyer who investigates a potentially fixed game show. There's the clue. Remember seeing this one back at the cinema back in the day, in the mid-90s. So it's a Robert Redford directed film released in 94. It's about a young lawyer who investigates a potentially fixed game show. Number 4 is a little bit more tricky. A 2010 thriller co-starring Naomi Watts and Sean Penn. It's about a CIA operative, Valerie Plum, who discovers her identity is leaked by the government as payback for an article her husband wrote criticizing the Bush administration. So this is a film from 2010. It's a thriller starring Naomi Watts and Sean Penn. It's about a CIA operative called Valerie Plum who discovers her identity is leaked by the government as payback for an article her husband wrote criticizing the Bush administration. Number 5, halfway through the round, another Al Pacino film question. So it's a Michael Mann film released in 1999, starring Russell Crowe and Pacino. A research chemist comes under personal and professional attack when he decides to appear on a 60 minutes expose on big tobacco. Another good film that came out in the late 90s. It's a Michael Mann film starring Russell Crowe and Al Pacino. A research chemist comes under personal and professional attack when he decides to appear on a 60 minutes expose on big tobacco. Tell me the name of the film. Number 6, getting to the end of the night. Okay, so a 2015 acclaimed film with a stellar cast set between 2006 and 2007. A group of investigators bet against the US mortgage market. In their research, they discover how flawed and corrupt the market is. So again, number 6, a 2015 film with a stellar cast set between 2006 and 2007. It's about a group of investigators that bet against the US mortgage market. In their research, they discover how flawed and corrupt the market is. A few more left, 4 to go. Number 7, a Martin Scorsese film is based on true story of Jordan Belfont, from his rise to a wealthy stockbroker to his fall involving crime, corruption, and the federal government. Tell me the name of the film. It's one of Scorsese's longest films, clocking in at 3 hours. So a Scorsese film based on the true story of Jordan Belfont, from his rise to a wealthy stockbroker to his fall involving crime, corruption, and the federal government. But tell me the name of the film. Number 8 is a Best Picture winner from 2016, so quite up to date. It's a true story of how the Boston Globe uncovered the scandal of child abuse and cover-up within the local Catholic Church. Good film, this one. Saw it a couple of years back. It won the Best Picture Oscar in 2016. It's the true story of how the Boston Globe uncovered the scandal of child abuse and cover up within the local Catholic Church. Two more. Question number 59 of the night. 49. So number 9, a 2011 film with Kevin Spacey, Paul Bettany and Jeremy Irons about key people at an investment bank over a 24-hour period during the early stages of the 2008 financial crisis. I think this one was on telly recently. I saw it a couple of years back. It's a good little film. It's a 2011 movie. Stars Kevin Spacey, Paul Bettany and Jeremy Irons. It's about key people in an investment bank over a 24-hour period during the early stages of the 2008 financial crash. But tell me the name of the film. So we go from the financial crash to another banking collapse. The story of Nick Leeson. Leeson, played by Ewan McGregor, an investment broker who bankrupted one of the oldest and most important banks in Britain. A 1999 British film. But tell me the name of the film. So number 10, the last final question of the night. We got there in the end, despite the problems, despite the technology, despite the internet, all because of Virgin Media. The story of Nick Leeson, Ewan McGregor, an investment broker who bankrupted one of the oldest and most important banks in Britain. British film, released in 1999. But what is the name of the film? That's all 10 questions. The final round that was, the penultimate round, that was round number 5. It was based on true life scandals, real life scandals that happen in true life. How did you fare with this round? Did you like it? Did you not so keen on this one? What are your predicted scores for the final round and the third lockdown quiz of the second UK government lockdown? Things changing a little bit next week with the lockdowns. We're now on a new tiered system, of course, as we know. We're in the city of Bristol, which is in the highest tier number 3. So heavy restrictions in place. Dutch film buff, 6 or a 7 out of 10, which would be a good score for the last round. Anyone else get on okay with this round, the final one? As I said, we got there in the end. All the problems, the joys of the on-off switch. 9 times out of 10 it works. Yeah, not so good tier 3. It's strange how some things are opening up, like gyms, and then cinemas can't open up. I don't see the logic in that myself, but I'm not going to get too political tonight. It gets me into trouble at the best of times. Me and my big mouth. Okay, so in a minute we'll recap on the rounds, and I'll read out all the answers and see how you got on. But before that, someone's asking Susan Chilcott for number 3. Yeah, no problem. So question number 3 was a Robert Redford directed film released in 1994 about a young lawyer who investigates a potentially fixed game show. Okay, so before I give out the answers to tonight's quiz, first of all, I want to apologize about the technology, but I really appreciate you being patient and hanging on. You should have heard me offline. I was really cussing, and I'm certainly not the most patient of men. I was really using some curse words. The wife ran in. What's going on? These things happen. They're sent to try. But before I reveal the answers, one of the rounds tonight, which Emma Richards wanted, was a round on Quentin Tarantino. Certainly since the 90s, he's been prolific, mentioned as one of the most influential and very unique in terms of his filmmaking style. I was going to ask you on your thoughts on Tarantino. Do you like his work? Are you not so keen on his work? If so, what would you say are his best films? And what would you say are his worst films? In my opinion, I find Tarantino's a little bit like Marmite for me. When he came out in the 90s, when I was at school, I was a big fan. He really made a big impact on 90s cinema, no question of that, with his debut film, Reservoir Dogs. Well, not his debut, as you'll find out later. And his second feature film, which I still think is his best, Pulp Fiction. For me, since then, it's been a little bit hit and miss. There's some of the films I like a lot. There's some I don't like at all. The last one I was enjoying until the end because I felt it was typical Tarantino, bit of a one-trick pony with the violence. So I was a little bit disappointed with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood up until the end. I did like Hateful Eight. So there's a few. Jackie Brown, somebody mentioned, I haven't seen that for a long time. Emma saying she really liked Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is obviously set around the Sharon Tate and the famous Manson murders of the 60s. Roman Polanski was the boyfriend at the time. A lot of people like Kill Bill because it obviously mixes up a lot of genres with the martial arts, the kung fu. Uma Thurman, who's in so many Tarantino films, collaborated with him a lot. What do you think of Tarantino's writing? Because he's quite prolific with his writing. He's won an Oscar for his writing for Pulp Fiction. Never won the Best Director Oscar, but often known for sort of self-referencing and humor. And the music, the soundtracks are always good. Love the Reservoir Dogs soundtrack, Little Green Bag. Any other films that are your favourites with Tarantino? I need to watch Jackie Brown again. Yeah, the manga animation. So many influences. I know he's quite into Jean-Luc Godard because he called his company Band Apart. There's some references to that film, that Godard film. Dutch film buff saying he thought he was a god in the 90s when he was a teenager, but not so keen on his later work. Yeah, I feel the same there. I kind of agree with you. The other thing I was going to ask, a recommendation last week was name a movie star that, to put a female movie star around when we did Julia Roberts. I was going to ask you, who would you say is your favorite? If you had to choose one person as your favorite movie star, that if a film was released with them in, you ultimately go and see it, you go to the cinema, you maybe would go as far as queuing up, maybe you collected merchandise associated with that star. Who would you say is your favorite movie star of all time if you just had to name one person, which is hard, I know. If I had to name so many I like, but I have to say the one star that made the biggest impression on me as a young man, surprise, surprise, Ian knows what I'm going to say, is I have to say Robert De Niro, I think. James Stewart, that's a really good choice. Made so many good films. I always thought he was great in Westerns. Emma Richards saying Kurt Russell. Yeah, he's a little bit underrated, I think, Kurt Russell. I think he's a pretty good actor, in fairness. I liked him in a good thriller he did in the 90s called Breakdown. I thought that was a really good film. Tom Hanks. Yeah. Tom Hanks is a funny one. I never liked him at his peak, but now I watch him and stuff. I think he's great. Philip Rouse saying Sean Connery, the penultimate Bond in many people's eyes, died around about 4 or 5 weeks ago. I think he was aged 90. Yeah, Jack Nicholson is always great. Brilliant in the 70s in films like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Five Easy Pieces, and Chinatown, one of my favorites. Toshiro Mifune, yeah, he is great. He obviously did so many collaborations with Akira Kurosawa. Seven Samurai. He's in Rashomon, isn't he? I think Throne of Blood. Alain Delon is great. Yeah, he's a great French star. Um, uh, During the early lockdown, I was talking about Le Samurai, which I think is a great film he did with. Oh, I'm trying to think of the director. Terrible, it's escaped me. Really good French director known for his crime films. Jean-Pierre Melville. DiCaprio's great, no question about it. One of the best young actors to come out of cinema in the 90s. Kind of like the new Robert De Niro in some ways with his collaboration with Scorsese. A really good collaboration. It was De Niro, Scorsese, DiCaprio, Scorsese, and now DiCaprio, De Niro, Scorsese with the next film. Yeah, Cruzy, I think, is a great star. I wish he pushed himself a bit more as an actor these days, but he doesn't need to, does he? In fairness, but he's worked with some great directors. Oliver Stone, worked with Stanley Kubrick. You know, Harrison Ford. Yeah, he doesn't do so much now. I thought he was good in the last Blade Runner film. I thought he gave a good role in that, reprising his role as Deckard. I thought he was good. Yeah, Tim Robbins. He's an interesting guy, very political, married to Suzanne Sarandon. Yeah, Ryan Gosling, he's good. Again, he was good in the Blade Runner sequel. There's so many actors. I can think of so many from the past. I love Al Pacino, Jack Lemmon, Humphrey Bogart. I think's just tremendous. James Cagney. James Cagney was just great. Timothy Chalamet. Yeah, he's in one of my favorite films from a couple of years ago. Again, the film's blooming escaped me. Call Me by Your Name. It's a beautiful film. Like two young men who fall in love. Thought it was a magnificent film. Yeah, we mentioned some interesting actors there. You ready for the answers? We finally got there in the end. Just gone 10 o'clock. Let's go with the answers. See how you all got on. Hopefully no more spanners in the works. I think I've deserved another drop of gin tonight. Okay, so round number one was the Tarantino round. It was the Palme d'Or, that got my pronunciation, that he won at the 1994 Cannes Film Festival. So the top award he won, the Palme d'Or. Two answers to question number two. Pam Grier plays Jackie Brown, and it's based on an Elmore Leonard novel. So Pam Grier and Elmore Leonard. Number three, I bet you all got this one. It's Bruce Willis. It said, Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead. Number four was a tricky one. The film was Four Rooms. I've never seen it. Tim Roth as a bellhop. It was Four Rooms. Number five was Natural Born Killers. Natural Born Killers, the Oliver Stone film. Number six was the actor Christoph Waltz that won the Best Supporting Actor for playing a Nazi officer in Tarantino's Inglourious Bastards. Number seven was a line of dialogue. I wanted you to tell me the character name and the actor. It's Mr. White and it's Harvey Keitel. So Mr. White, Harvey Keitel. Number eight, who plays villain Bill in Tarantino's Kill Bill volumes 1 and 2? It's the late David Carradine. So David Carradine for that one. Number nine, it was From Dusk Till Dawn, the vampire movie. So From Dusk Till Dawn, crazy film. And the last one, if anyone got this one, I'll hand deliver you a bottle of Moet Chandon. Somebody's going to say they got this now. The debut film from 1987 that Tarantino made, I've never seen this, is My Best Friend's Birthday. My Best Friend's Birthday. Did anyone get that one? Tally up your scores for Tarantino and let me know how you got on. 10 questions on Quentin Tarantino films, associations with his movies. 11 is a good score. Did anyone get that? Final question, that debut film from the late 80s. I need to watch it. It's on YouTube. I did find it on there. Okay. How did everyone else get? 11's a good score. What about the Richards? They recommended this round from last week. Suzanne, a good score of 10. Gail got an 11. Emma got a 10. Good score. Let's move on to round number 2. So 2 was the famous lines. I wanted you to tell me the actor or actress that says the line and the film. They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom. It's Mel Gibson, and it was Braveheart. So Mel Gibson, Braveheart. Number 2, They Call Me Mr. Tibbs. It was Sidney Poitier, In the Heat of the Night. So They Call Me Mr. Tibbs, Sidney Poitier, In the Heat of the Night. End of the film, this bit, Nobody's Perfect. It was Joey Brown, Some Like It Hot. So Joey Brown, Some Like It Hot. The next one, you know how to whistle, don't you, Steve? Put your lips together and blow. It was the great Lauren Bacall in To Have and Have Not. So Lauren Bacall, To Have and Have Not. Number 5, I Am Big. It's the Pictures That Got Small. It was Gloria Swanson in Sunset Boulevard. One of my favorite films from the lockdown. The line was, I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. It was Oscar winner Peter Finch for his role in Network. So Peter Finch, Network. I See Dead People. It was the child actor at the time, Haley Joel Osment in The Sixth Sense. So Haley Joel Osment in The Sixth Sense. I was talking about him earlier as one of my favorite actors. I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. And it was indeed. It's Humphrey Bogart in the classic Casablanca. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. I bet you all got this one. It's Clark Gable and It's Gone with the Wind. And a trickier one for number 10, Fasten Your Seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night. It's Bette Davis, All About Eve. So Bette Davis, the last answer, All About Eve. Tricky round that. How did you get on with that round? Famous lines from films. That was round number 2. How did you fare with that round? Always like putting in a bit of dialogue. We've done that over the course of the quizzes. We started the quizzes back in June or July, and I don't know how many we've done altogether. Probably a good 20 or 30, I would have thought. I need to count them up. Emma Richards a 9. Suzanne Chilcott a 10. Good score. Mr. Harlequin, 4 marks. Very impressive indeed. I'm very impressed. Gail Rogers a 12. And Dutch Film Buff, another good score, 18. And Bikey Chicks got a good score, which was 15. Yeah, it was April. Crikey, I'm just losing track of time. Yeah, I work in a cinema for a big corporate cinema. I haven't been in work since March. So what's that, 8 months? Crazy. Okay, the third round was Julia Roberts, the Hollywood actress. And question 1, it was Erin Brockovich. She won the Academy Award back in 2001. So Erin Brockovich. Number 2, the male co-star was the good-looking Richard Gere, who was in Runaway Bride and Pretty Woman. The 1991 thriller, co-starring bad man Patrick Bergin, is Sleeping with the Enemy. Good little film, Sleeping with the Enemy. 4, I'd imagine you all got right. The director was Steven Spielberg, that directed the 1991 blockbuster Hook. Number 5, a little bit more tricky. It was Lyle Lovett, the country star. She married in 93 and broke up from in 95. So Lyle Lovett. She was nominated for an Oscar for Steel Magnolias, and that was the film I described from 1989. So Steel Magnolias. Tom Hanks was the co-star, the male co-star in Charlie Wilson's War. Number 8 was a tricky one. I don't know this film, never seen it. Mystic Pizza from 1988. Mystic Pizza. John Grisham, number 9, the famous novelist who wrote The Pelican Brief that was adapted into a film with Denzel Washington and Julia Roberts in 93. Remember seeing that one at the cinema. It was quite a good film, actually. And number 10, it was Nick Nolte. They just did not get on at all on the terrible film I Love Trouble. Apparently, they were just constantly at one another's throats and spatting and ganging up on one another with crew. Apparently, they just loathe one another. So it was Nick Nolte, the co-star, and they just did not get along. And that title, really, I Love Trouble. How did you get on with that round? Julia Roberts. Tally up your scores. We'll see how you get on, and we'll do some shout outs. You saw the film back in the cinema. Yeah, mid-90s. A 9, Gail Rogers, good score. Up on her Julia Roberts films, which is good. Anyone else? 10 out of 10, excellent score with a clap. Yeah, really good. Philip Rawls saying go Gail. Amanda got a 10. 10 out of 10 is excellent. 9 out of 10 is very good. So some good scores there. You know your Julia Roberts films. Many get, obviously you got Mystic Pizza. I've never seen that film. Might stick it on one night, see what it's like. Quite like some of the 80s stuff, to be honest. Just for, I was growing up in that decade. Nostalgia reasons. So original casting choices was round 4. This was after all the shenanigans of like the internet problems. James Acursin, sweating, losing the will to live. Surely not. People say I'm too laid back. Which Full Metal Jacket actor was first choice by Paramount to play Maverick in Top Gun? It was Matthew Modine. Matt Modine. I always think he's a little bit underrated. I quite like Matthew Modine. Never been an A-list star, but he's good. It was Tom Selleck that was originally going to play Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark. So Tom Selleck. Number 3, it was Winona Ryder that was originally going to play Mary Corleone in The Godfather Part 3. Answer number 4, Bill Murray played Peter Venkman, but originally it was written for the late John Belushi. So John Belushi was in the Blues Brothers. Number 5, I think she's a great actress, and I kind of got a bit of a crush on her, even though she's an older lady. Fantastic actress. Annette Bening was going to play Catwoman. I think she would have done a good job, but Michelle Pfeiffer was pretty good. Another person I got a crush on, but say no more. Number 6, Eric Stoltz. He originally played Marty McFly. They even filmed scenes, and it just wasn't working out. He was playing it far too serious for their liking. So Eric Stoltz. Michael J. Fox obviously went on to play him successfully in the trilogy. Number 7, it was Crocodile Dundee, Paul Hogan. It was originally going to be Sam Wheat in Ghost, and then Patrick Swayze got the part. Okay, next one. Kevin Costner was going to play Jack Ryan in The Hunt for the Red October. I think Alec Baldwin plays him in the film, along with Sean Connery. It was Jim Carrey that was going to play Shaggy in Scooby-Doo originally. And lastly, Harvey Keitel was originally cast as Benjamin L. Willard in Apocalypse Now. They shot scenes. For some reason, it wasn't working out, so he was replaced by Martin Sheen. So Harvey Keitel, the last actor, he was originally going to be in. He was originally in Eyes Wide Shut as well, as the character Sidney Pollack plays, and I think he just walked off set for the demands of Kubrick, doing about 90 takes, walking into a room, and just said, "Oh, I've had enough of this." I think Jennifer Jason Leigh was replaced as well on the film. Bit of useless information for you. How did you get on with your original castings? I thought this was quite a different sort of round, a little bit different. Quite liked it. Did you like it as well? Suzanne Chilcott, not bad, a 6. Bikey Chicken 9, which is good. A 10 for Andy Rolls, really good. Emma Richards, good with an 8. I think I need to make these questions harder. 10, another good score. And the Dutch film buff, again, a good score. 9, doing really well tonight. The last round, number 5, real life scandals. So films based on scandals that happen in real life, based on fact. No, not that harder. Okay. Amanda got a 10. Okay. Good scores again. So it's Philomena was the 2013 film that I gave the description from. Stars Steve Coogan, who I think wrote the screenplay. I think he directed it. And Judi Dench. So Philomena. Number 2, great film from the 70s. It's the legend Al Pacino in Serpico. Serpico was the film. Number 3, if you want to see a good film from the 90s, stick on Quiz Show. It's brilliant. So Quiz Show, Robert Redford directed film from 94. It's a really good film. Fair Game was the Naomi Watts and Sean Penn 2010 thriller about a CIA operative. Michael Mann film from 99, Russell Crowe and Al Pacino. It was his follow-up to Heat. It was The Insider. The Insider. Number 6, a more up-to-date film from 2015. That's 5 years ago. The Financial Crash, The Big Short. The Big Short. Quite enjoyed that film. But I enjoyed this one more. The Wolf of Wall Street. Leonardo DiCaprio as Jordan Belfont. The Wolf of Wall Street. Answer number 7. Spotlight was the film that won Best Picture in 2016. It's a good film. Check it out if you've not seen it. About the Boston Globe uncovering the scandal of child abuse and cover up with the local Catholic Church. Margin Call is a film set around the financial crisis in 2008. So Margin Call stars Kevin Spacey, Paul Bettany, and the British actor Jeremy Irons. And the last one was Rogue Trader, where Ewan McGregor plays the infamous Nick Leeson. So that's the 10 questions. That was the final round. Tot up your scores. Let me know how you got on. And tally up your scores from the 5 rounds. So it's 50 questions as usual tonight. And we'll see how you all got on. Despite the problems, how did you find tonight's quiz? I've enjoyed it despite week on week the technical issues, which I must admit was getting me down a little bit tonight. But, you know, a lot worse things could happen. Bikey Chick, a 7, an 8 for Gail Rogers, Emma, a 6. Difficult round, says the Dutch film buff, with a good score of 6. Now, I appreciate you all keeping your patience and staying on. I really appreciate that. Really nice of you. I thought I was going to come back after about 10-15 minute break and me doing a disappearing act, and I thought you'd all be gone. I thought I'd be there doing the quiz on my own. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's just high demand at the moment, and I don't know, because I've not had issues with it in the week, but I haven't been streaming video, in fairness. Okay, so Suzanne's the first to declare her score tonight, which was 35. Thanks for taking part. I hope to see you next week. We'll be back next week if the critters disappear, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Any more scores tonight? 38's a good score from Emma Richards and Ian. Gail, 50 total. Continuity errors. That is a brilliant suggestion. Andy Rowles, 41 is good. Bikey Chick, very good, a 52. Yeah, good point about the cable. I've got a new MacBook, which I had to buy during the lockdown because I had problems with my other one that I was using previously. And typical Apple, no connection to put a internet cable. Typical of Apple, every time they update these MacBooks, you can never use stuff like HDMI. You always got to get these adapters. They're an absolute nightmare. Mr. Harlequin, 61. Philip Rouse, a 41. Okay, so you happy for us to do the same again next week with a half 8 lockdown quiz? And if so, is there anything you'd like to see different? Would you like to see a particular theme? Or do you have any suggestions for any particular rounds at all? What would you like to see for next week's quiz? I don't know. Would you like to see more questions, less questions, or you happy with the format, or would you like it to be changed? Do something a lot more different. So we've kind of been doing the same old for film noir. I can do that. We did do it a few months back, a film noir round. Yeah, I remember doing a 1940s round as well. The film noir was kind of the 40s decade. Any other suggestions? Annette Bening, yeah, that would be good. Yeah, I do have a soft spot for Annette. A shame it's not reciprocal, but maybe we can work on that. Don't tell my wife. Harrison Ford movies, I think we did that, but we could maybe do that again. A picture round's it's a good idea. Posters, yeah. Certainly dig out some posters I've got upstairs. I've been digging out some posters during the week and trying to sell some bits, and I found I'll try and share it with you next week if you're interested. I found a lovely original Princess Bride quad poster that I had years back. It's printed on like a linen paper. It's a lovely poster. I was going to sell it, but I think it's worth about $250 if somebody would pay that. $250, $300. I was going to sell it for about $150, and I thought I might just frame it and keep a hold of it. Yeah, it's a lovely poster. It really is. It's an illustrated poster, like hand drawn. I'll dig it out next week if you want to see it. It's upstairs in a tube. Can we all meet down the pub? Yeah. Okay, so 70s, 80s sci-fi like that. Screen partnerships. What do you mean by screen partnerships? Like collaborations? Yeah, Andre the Giant from the old WWF days. Okay, so thanks for your patience tonight. It's not been the easiest with the technology. I appreciate you taking part. It's always good fun. Don't take it seriously. It's just to test your knowledge, a bit of entertainment during the lockdown. But I hope to see you all next week. Enjoy your weekends, whatever you're doing. Stay safe, as they say. And hopefully I'll see you next week for some more of the old LA Cinema film quiz. Going deaf. Anyway, take care and good night. And we'll see you next week for some more iconic moments. Good night and good luck. Take care. Bye.